now we're going to be joined by a fighter that Jeff knows pretty well here. Malik Scott's going to join us for the next little bit. Malik, welcome to the Jeff Mayweather Show. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys, man. I appreciate it. What's happening?
Hey, how's it going?
What's going on, Jeff?
I'm good.
Well, for those that don't know, obviously Jeff and Malik got to know each other pretty well here a few months ago. Unfortunately for Jeff, I guess. Jeff was the trainer for Bowie Tupou, and of course Malik fought him in his last fight and got the victory in 8 rounds. First, we'll start with you, Jeff. Let's get your thoughts on that fight.
Well, I mean, to be honest, it was a fight in which I didn't think that it was a good selection for us anyway. I mean, because I know that, Boy has trouble with guys that can box, and I think that Malik is probably the best boxer in the heavyweight division, hands down. So we were in for, a situation in which where we had to try to just land a big shot in. And, he was too slick for that.
Now, Malik, I think he's being a little too nice because he's been telling me all the time since then that you just got lucky that you didn't deserve it. So he's changing his tune now, right, Jeff?
Yeah, right. No, I keep it real.
No, just kidding. Malik, just, as far as, your thoughts on the fight?
The fight is so the handwriting is right on the wall, man. Bowie is a one-trick pony. He come forward. He wants to land one punch. He almost actually pulled his game plan off with Brian Jennings and landed the one shot. I'm too skillful, I'm too talented to go for them type of fighters and them trying to get them type of game plans off for me. He didn't land a big shot. I beat him with my jab the whole night, and he quit in the 8th round, and, it was simple as that.
Right. Now, Jeff, you'd mentioned that you think he's the best boxer in the division. What advantage do you think that gives him over the other, the top dogs that, running out there in the heavyweight division?
Well, I mean, like I said, one thing is when you're a good, solid boxer in any weight class, it makes it difficult, because most boxers can make adjustments. And to be a boxer, you don't have to be no big puncher to be able to beat guys that are bigger punchers. You can outsmart them, you can outthink them, And so, that's one of the things with being a good boxer is that, you can deal with whatever's in front of you because you're able to make adjustments as the fight takes place.
Right. And Malik, for you, how is it hard at all for you not to get sucked into someone's plan like that? You're a big dude, you're still a guy, going in there. Is it hard not to get stuck in there and try not to, go toe-to-toe with a guy instead of sticking to the game plan and using your superior boxing?
Not really. For a logical, because outside the ring as well as inside the ring, I'm a very logical human being, and 1 + 1 is 2. Bowie Tupou is looking to land a big shot. He's not going to do it. My reflexes is too good. My hands is too fast. My feet is too fast to go for them type of fighters. Them type of fighters really is easy work to me. It's almost too easy. You can't just be a one-trick pony, think you're going to come forward and land a big shot on me. I've been eating them guys up for breakfast my whole life. So, it's not a science project. It's nothing, real arithmetic about it. Bowie tried to land a big shot. He didn't land it on me, and it was because of my great reflexes that I believe in.
Right. Now I've been reading Twitter here. It seems like your fellow heavyweights got your back in your upcoming fight, but you're fighting another undefeated guy. You're 35-0. You're facing a 14-0, a tough guy. He's training out of New Jersey right now, but he's actually Ukrainian, I believe. Klaskov. What do you know about him, and what do you expect in that fight?
I know enough about him. He fought what's the cat name? Tor Hammer. Tor Hammer basically quit. I don't know why Tor Hammer. He just decided not to quit. But if anybody knows Tor Hammer, he's not extremely passionate about boxing. So when you're dealing with somebody that really don't have any passion at all, that they can just go out there and quit on national TV, you really know what type of fighter you're dealing with. This kid that I'm fighting, he's not fighting Tor Hammer. He's never seen a boxer like me in front of him. And I'm looking forward to the fight, and I'm definitely looking forward to staying undefeated on February 23rd.
Yeah, it's going to be on NBC TV. A good showcase for you. First of all, tell us about being on TV. And NBC seems like they're doing a really good job promoting. A lot of you up and coming boxers. So what do you think? What's NBC done for you guys? As far as boxing in general.
What has NBC done?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they've done really well as far as, getting a lot of you upcoming guys. Brian Jennings obviously has been kind of a star over there on NBC. So explain the opportunity being on NBC and what they've done for, up-and-coming boxers.
Oh, it's a great exposure machine. Like, not just for me, like you said, for all up-and-coming fighters just coming up. And it's also bringing back them throwback days of when fighters was always busy and always on national TV, not just the cable channels, not just pay-per-view, because there's so many fighters and we all up and coming hungry that we need these kind of outlets. So February 23rd, I'm gonna take all advantage of the opportunity of this. Because I'm very appreciative to get this fight. I'm glad that they took the fight. There's so many fighters that go the opposite direction of coming to fight Malik Scott. That this kid actually took the fight, and we're gonna see what he got February 23rd.
Yeah, you'd mentioned that, and that's the one thing that I thought was pretty cool. Because me and Jeff have had these disagreements before about pay-per-view versus free TV and that kind of thing. And and as far as it goes with making stars, and when I was little, I remember seeing Larry Holmes fight on free TV, and that kind of thing. Whereas now, once you get there and are a huge star, if you don't, you're not going to pay the $50 for the pay-per-view, you're not going to get to see anybody. So I think it's really cool that they're coming back and bringing those kind of fights back and letting people see you guys, as you become stars and, while you're stars.
Right, definitely, man. It's a great exposure machine, and it's building champions. It's showing contenders. It's showing pretenders. It's showing it's a great exposure, man. And, I'm happy to be a part of it. It's kind of like the revolution is coming back, and I'm gonna take full advantage of it February 23rd.
Now, Jeff, this guy's 35-0, and basically, if you're not a real big fan of, well, I don't want to say a big fan, but if you don't follow boxing really closely, you might not even know who this guy is. How can you be 35-0 and have as much talent as Malik Scott and him not get the recognition that he deserved at this point?
I mean, a lot of it has to do with, basically what he's talking about now, being able to be seen. I mean, you can be 50-0, but if you haven't had no exposure, it doesn't matter. So, and basically, Malik, he's been on TV a few times, but he hasn't been on there enough where, he can really build a strong fan base. And so basically now, he's probably with this, getting this opportunity on NBC, it's only going to help. It's going to help, and, the thing is that now people will understand, why he is 35-0.
Mm-hmm. And Malik, what do you think about that as far as, why you might not be, why you're, kind of under the radar at this point?
It's so many different reasons, man, and, it's a long list of them. And when I start thinking of all of them reasons, I hate to come across as a man that's coming up with a bunch of excuses for a bunch of other people and different managers and different promoters and different injuries and all that type of shit. But the only thing I can say is I'm extremely healthy. I'm thankful that I'm healthy. I'm thankful that I'm still relevant, and I'm so thankful that I got this opportunity February 23rd. Because like I said, man, I'm going to take full advantage of it. This kid has never seen nothing like me. He's got, what I do like is he has a good pedigree. He comes to fight, but guys that come to fight, they play right into my hand. So, we definitely going to see what this kid is really made of.
Right. Now, Jeff, going back to, he's 35-0. I just asked you, what you thought about, him not being, quite as known as he could have been. But you got people like, and you being a Mayweather, all about the hype machine and how that stuff works. So how does someone, like Sal Alvarez, he's got all the hype behind him, and he hasn't fought a bunch of huge people, and he's only fought, questionable competition. So how does someone like him get up there and be, that get a ton of attention that he may or may not have deserved, and then you get someone like Malik who, hasn't necessarily, got the people behind him to push him where, he could get the notice he deserves?
Well, I mean, they had the ball rolling for Canelo the second he turned pro. So, I mean, it was almost like, in your face. So you could not know who he was. you know, and it didn't take long for him to become a major attraction in boxing. You know, I mean, right behind Floyd and Pacquiao, he's probably the next guy. You know, it was Cotto, but I think now, you know, it's probably Canelo, and I mean, he's had the media push from him, you know, for day one, so everybody knows who Canelo is. You know, so that makes a huge difference.
Right. And did that piss you off, Malik, that you don't get attention?
I would say piss me off. It adds fuel to my fire, because it so happens that usually guys that don't get the type of attention that they deserve, these guys can't really fight. They don't have the skills to pay the bills. But it just so happened in my case, I am the real deal. I do have the skills to pay the bill, but that's why we got this great NBC show. So people that don't believe, after February 23rd, they will be believers. So like I said, I'm thankful, and I'm just ready to fight right now. I can actually fight right now. I'm 225 pounds right now. So, like, they giving me extra, 4, 5, 6 weeks. So, I mean, you know, this kid got his hands full.
You know, you're out of action for, 4 years, from 2008 to 2012. You had a bicep injury. How did that affect you, you know, both mentally and physically? And do you think that really set you back? You know, if you had been able to continue at that point, do you think you'd be champion right now?
Most likely I would have been champion, but, like, it just so happened with the injuries that I had, they was like career-ending injuries. Like my doctors were saying that before the surgery, it was no reason to even do the surgery because I would never be able to fight again. So like I said, man, but when them doctors were saying that, I was still telling them to do the surgery. You know, I still was telling them they wasn't God. And after the surgery was done, I hopped my ass right back in the gym and did everything that it took to get my bicep right. And it's been back as like the bionic arm ever since. So, you know what I mean? I'm here now.
Was there ever any apprehension, you know, coming back, and were you a little worried that you could do something to re-injure it and then, you know, totally end your career?
Yes. I mean, sometimes, like, you know, when I'm human, at times I have doubt, especially when it comes to, like, you know, those type of serious injuries. But, like, you know, I go in the gym and I have great days and, you know, I have okay days and, you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. My arm is perfect, my health is perfect, and I'm just ready to fight.
All right. Now, Jeff, you know, I was joking at the beginning, but you're one of Malik's biggest fans as far as, you know, you constantly say how good he is. You know, at this point, you know, obviously if he gets by this fight, not looking past it, obviously, but where do you see him as far as the heavyweights go? Obviously, you know, they got a couple Klitschko's up there on top of the mountain. How far is he away from a shot like that, and how do you think he stacks up against the best in the heavyweight division?
Well, I mean, I don't think that he's that far away from, you know, title fight. I mean, anytime you have a guy that has a record like Malik, I mean, he's already in position, you know, to be aligned for a title. It's just a matter of making the connection. And because the Klitschko's have pretty much fought everybody that's out there already, you know. So I mean, there's like, you know, a few other guys that's in line that haven't had their chance, you know, and that's very few. You know, you of course you have the guy Price, you have Tyson Fury, you have Malik Scott, you have what's the other kid, Helena's. A few guys out there that I feel actually, you know, do have a chance against, you know, the Klitschko's. But, you know, I mean, because everybody else the Klitschko's have fought, I mean, some guys have had 2 chances and they're basically retreads. You know, so I mean, it's time for some new blood to get a chance. You know, I mean, you have Tony Thompson. He fought both Klitschko's and got knocked out the same way by both of them. You know, and you know, so I mean, and then you have other guys that have, you know, had a chance, had more than one shot. So it's time for some new blood anyway. And so I think that Malik has a great chance of, you know, of winning the heavyweight title.
And what are your thoughts on that, Malik?
Yeah, I mean, just like Jeff said, man, I'm knocking right at the door. I think this kid, February 23rd, is going to be the first door me kicking down starting this year. And then I believe 2-3 fights later, I'll be challenging one of the Klitschko's, whichever one it is. I'm not really concerned with. Like, you know what I mean? We both know we all know what both of them bring to the table, and we all know what both of them don't bring to the table. And with my skills and with my agility and with my ability and with my talent and with my heart all in one, I think I'll give either one of them, problems in the ring. So, I'm just, like, February 23rd is the date that I'm on right now, and then after that, it's whatever.
Right. Here's my thing, though. If I'm a Klitschko, Jeff mentioned them fighting retreads and that kind of stuff. I don't think I fight. No offense. Well, actually, it's a compliment to you. I don't think I fight you at any point. Because you could sit there. They can fight retreads, and they're close up to the end of their careers. If they can have a few decent fights and cement their legacy, Jeff. I mean, what do you think? I mean, if you were advising a Klitschko, would you have him get in a ring with someone like Malik Scott, or would you try to avoid that?
I mean, I don't necessarily know if I was their manager, what I would really do at this point, because I mean, they can make a situation tough for anybody. They can make a situation tough for Malik Scott. They can make a situation tough for any fighter that's willing to fight them, because they dictate the terms. And with them dictating the terms, sometimes that means that even if you do win, you don't win. So it's one of those situations in which, the Klitschkos, they're not the easiest guys in the world to knock out, and they do have skills. And now they can make you come to Germany, and you can fight in an arena where there's 20,000, 30,000, and not one person screaming for you. And and also the fight might not even be televised. So I mean, they can put you in a situation in which, if you don't knock them out, you're not going to win anyway. So, I don't think that if I was a Klitschko that I would avoid anyone. Not when I have that much power.
All right. Now, Jeff, which of the Klitschkos do you think Malik matches up better with?
I mean, I think that with his skills, I think that he has a great chance with either one of them. I mean, I think that Vladimir is a little better boxer. He has a little more agility. I think that what's the other one name? Vitali.
Vitali.
Yeah. I mean, Vitali, of course, is a much bigger puncher. So I mean, it's one of those things. I think that in the case with Malik, I think that he'll probably have a better chance with the guy that's looking for the knockout, more so than the guy that's trying to outbox him. I think that, it would be a little easier to deal with Vitali, because he's looking for one big shot.
All right. Malik, let me ask you a little bit. You've been around for quite a while here, but it seems like, your thoughts on the American heavyweight picture in general. It seems like you got some up-and-coming guys here that are pretty decent. Just, your thoughts on the heavyweight division in general. Let's I'd just like to ask you about a couple of these guys in particular, and what you think they bring to the table, and how talented they are. First of all, what we mentioned earlier, what about Brian Jennings? What do you think about him and his talent?
He's an extremely hard worker. Extremely. He has one of the best. He has one of the best trainers in the world, which is my childhood trainer, who taught me everything I know, Fred Jenkins. And I believe he's a very explosive. Brian Jennings is a good, solid fighter.
All right. And what about Deontay Wilder?
Deontay is a big, hard-hitting motherfucker. I don't care, people say, well, who has he fought, who has he this. I'm not into that. I'm into somebody having 26 wins, 26 knockouts. I don't even remember the last time that happened after Michael Moore, when Michael Moore was coming up from the light heavyweight division. Deontay's another good, solid fighter with a very, very hard right hand.
Right. And then, the one that kind of doesn't look like the rest and can kind of sneak up on you because he doesn't look like much of a fighter when you just look at him. But what about Andy Ruiz?
Who?
Andy Ruiz. Are you familiar with him at all?
Oh, yeah, I know Andy. Well, I've seen him actually a couple times box. Yeah, he doesn't look like much, but he's fast from what I'm hearing, and he's coming up and coming along. I really haven't seen too much of him, but I heard he's somewhat of the real deal, but. Yeah, he's an okay fighter.
Yeah, we saw him a few weeks ago. When he was fighting Elijah McCall, Oliver McCall's son, and you have Elijah's all ripped and chiseled, and then you have this really doughy guy up there.
How did that fight go? How did that fight go?
Ruiz tooled him. It was the second round. They ended it. That's the second. It might have been the third, but yeah, it was a one-sided beatdown. I mean, it was ugly, and then Ruiz was really impressive. I was really surprised.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. He's coming up strong, man. I always hear good things about that kid. So, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think about the heavyweight division in general? It's been dead for so long, because it's at least here in America, I'll say, because the Klitschko's have been on top. They're not, they don't kiss American ass, so we don't get to see too much over here of them, since the days of Tyson and that kind of thing. It's really been for the most part a dead division, like I said, with them being on top for so long and kind of ignoring us over here. What do you think about where the division's going and the people I just mentioned, and like I said, the division as a whole, and and what's in the future? Including yourself, obviously.
I'm one of them guys, man, that I can't really talk bad about a division that I'm in, especially when I see nothing but talented fighters. Like, all these guys that we name, these motherfuckers are talented, man, and they can actually fight. Now, the problem with the heavyweight division, I believe, is not enough of us are fighting each other. That's why this fight, February the 23rd, people are excited about it. Me and this kid, I forgot, I don't know how to pronounce the kid's name, but what's the kid name I'm fighting? What's his name?
Yeah, you're fighting Vyacheslav Glastov.
Yeah, Vyacheslav Glastov. like that's why people are excited about it, because you got two undefeated guys that's bringing something to the table. Like, it need to be more matchups like this going on. Like Brian Jennings and Deontay, they actually need to fight. I mean, it's cool to have a Twitter beef and a media beef, but these are the type of fights that actually need to happen for the heavyweight division to get the credit that it deserves. Because if you got me and Deontay, we even always talking about it, and we comrades with each other. We always talking about a lot of these O's got to go, even if it's us fighting each other. But the managers and the promoters got to stop hiding behind the curtains and put their guys up to bat. And if there's anybody that's always willing to fight anywhere, anytime, is Malik Scott. This kid that I'm fighting February 23rd, 7 guys turned this kid down. That's humiliating. That's embarrassing for me. Now, I don't like that part of the heavyweight division. Everybody wants these big bucks in the type of economy that we live in. I'm chasing history, and while I'm chasing history, it just so happens that I'm getting paid for my craft. It's too much of that hiding. Well, I want to fight him for 30 grand. No, I want to fight him for 70 grand. Motherfuckers need to just fight. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, no, really though, because the money and making the money, that'll take care of itself. But all of this, I'm not fighting him. I'd rather fight him. I'd rather fight. And I understand at the beginning it's the managers and the promoters' call. But once you get over 16, 17 fights, it's time for the fighters to really start speaking up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at some of my interviews from Eastside Boxer, from Fight News, from what's my man name from Fight Hype, Percy, I've been calling guys out for the last 5, 6 years. It just so happened that my promoters and my managers wasn't making the right moves for me. So, like, excuse me, guys. So it just so happened my manager and promoters wasn't making the right moves for me, but I stayed at my craft, and now I'm having my opportunity to see to let the world see why everybody been ducking me for the last 5, 6 years. But the division need more top quality young heavyweights fighting each other. That's the only way we're gonna get our just due as far as a whole, as far as the American heavyweight division. If people keep ducking and hiding and wanting this much money, because it's a such way of being a coward. And I call a lot of these guys, they don't have no heart. So they use the purse bid to hide behind. They use the purse to hide behind. Oh, well, they only offer me $60,000. Only? The time that we live in, it ain't no such thing as only $60,000. Like, I damn near, like, you know, that don't make sense to me, but these are the type of things that these cats is pulling off. I'd rather fight him for this much money. I'd rather fight. Now, don't forget, now, this would be somebody with 20 fights trying to pick a fight. You can't pick no fights. Like, the only people, to me, that's allowed to pick fights is Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo, and them. If you ain't at that level, all that trying to hand pick fights, that shit don't make no sense. That has never made sense to me. All that hand-picking fight shit, and you're not even a contender yet. How are you hand-picking a fight when you ain't paid no dues? You got to pay dues to start hand-picking a fight. And I don't have no time to be hand-picking no fights. I got 2 kids. I'm extremely hungry. I'm underrated. Like, I'm fighting any and everybody. All you got to, like my Eastside Boxing, the title of my last interview was, I'm only a phone call and a contract away. I'm not arguing about purse. I'm not arguing about who's the guy. When these cats called me and said they wanted this dude, I said, yo, I'll be up there. I went and signed the contract the very next day. Like, anybody can get this work. Like, you know what I'm saying? But all of that hiding behind purses and all that shit, man, that's like, you know, that's not the revolution. of the new heavyweight division. Like, you know what I mean? That's coward shit. But a lot of these guys is doing that. They hide behind their managers. They hide behind their promoters. They hide behind luxury as far as money, you know, and speaking on different numbers. 100,000. I'm not fighting Adamic for 100,000. How the fuck can you turn down $100,000 to fight Adamic? Like, that's like speaking another language to me. Like when I heard a couple cats did that. They only offer me $70,000, $60,000 to fight Adamic. Man, you don't even deserve the box. I think after a while they should make a rule that if you turn down a certain amount of fights, a certain amount of money, you're not even allowed in the sport no more. Because that's ridiculous. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's ridiculous to do that type of shit. But this is the type of shit that's going on, man. I'm sorry, guys. I just need to speak on the coward act of a lot of these.
I think we hit a sore spot with you.
He's on a rant.
We don't. You know, and I actually want to get your thoughts on it in a second, Jeff. But that's the one thing, and again, this is kind of something me and Jeff have argued about too. You know, about different things, but yeah, it just seems like, you know, you might have the guys like Deontay and Jennings and yourself or whatever, but it's one thing if we're only seeing, you know, talented up and coming guys against mismatched opponents. But yeah, we need to see you guys in there together, knocking each other's heads off for 2 and 3 times, you know, and having these great feuds like we used to have back in the day, so we can see you guys, you know, against the total, you know, best competition that you can get in there against instead of, you know, hand-picked guys. Jeff, your thoughts on all that?
It has to go down like that.
Yeah. Jeff?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on what he said?
No, I mean, I think that what he's saying is 100% correct, because the thing is this, is that, you know, I mean, because right now there are no titles that belong to Americans, you know, to bring prominence back to America, I mean, we have to start with these guys who are the guys that out there that we're following, and allow them to challenge one another. You know, like he said, I mean, you know, you have a Malik Scott, you have a DeAndre Water, you have Brian Jennings, you have, you know, I mean, these are American fighters, and, you know, they can actually fight amongst each other, you know, to put themselves in position to fight for a title. You know, and basically that'll bring prominence back to the heavyweight division, at least even here in America. And even if it's just the best guy out of, you know, even if it's a tournament or whatever, even the best guy that's done after all this stuff is, after smoke clear, the guy that's the best guy fight for the title. You know, I mean, but still, and it actually, it brings notoriety, and it brings back prominence back to America, because, like he said, they're willing to take the challenge against, you know, the best guy out there that's, you know, or the guy that has a big following, the guy that has a big, I mean, like DeAndre Wilder, is that his name?
Yeah.
Anyway, but this guy, I mean, everybody he hit, they go to sleep, you know. But at the same time, I mean, you know, you can't question all of his opposition. I mean, even though he has had some weak opposition, but still, even having weak opposition, every fight hasn't been a weak opposition, and everybody that's been in front of him has been put to sleep, meaning that this dude has some serious power. You know, and I can understand, you know, what he's saying. He's saying that maybe, you know, you have guys that are scared to death that, you know, that probably in position don't want to take no chance fighting him because, you know, I mean, they know that no matter what, you know, no matter what his record is, no matter who he fought, they know that he can punch. And that part is legit because ain't nobody stood up to him no matter what. You know, and the thing is that, like, I mean, it's one of those things that you can't be, you know, just waiting to fight for your opportunity if you want to bring back boxing to America where the fans are going to generate and the fans are going to say, wait a second, this is our guy. This is our guy that we want to represent us, you know, as an American heavyweight. Because, I mean, right now it's almost like the Klitschko's and everybody else. Nobody else is nothing. You know what I mean? That's how it is right now in the heavyweight division. Until, like he said, until these guys are willing to make, you know, a challenge against one another, you know, to get the ball rolling, to find the heavyweight that we all want to get behind and throw our support to, and feel good about his chances of winning. You know, what he's saying is true. This is what needs to happen.
And, it just seems almost like people are, like you both comment about people, handpicking opponents. It seems almost like people are trying to, the up-and-comers are trying to, before they have their first real, big challenge, they want it to be a super fight. If I get to 40, and beat everybody, then I can get a big super fight. Then I'll fight someone tough because I'm getting, $3 million or $5 million or whatever. So they want to, just totally, cherry pick and like I said, establish themselves as superstars, even though they necessarily haven't, deserved it. But one thing, Malik, that Jeff mentioned very briefly was a tournament. What about doing like a Super Six or something like for heavyweights? Is that something you'd be down for?
That'd be almost the best thing that happened to the heavyweight division in the last 15, 20 years, I believe. Those type of things that is almost like when you cut the grass, you see all the snakes. Those type of tournaments right there, that really weeds out the undefeated records, that weeds out the novice guys between the guys that's really skilled, that weeds out who's the actually best pound-for-pound heavyweight that this country got to offer. Now, it's that simple. That's what that tournament would do. Point blank, period. If you put the best young heavyweights all together in the tournament, whoever win that tournament is the best young heavyweight that America got to offer. Now, what's so hard to put that together? That's up to the powers that be, as far as the promoters and the marketing teams of each promotional company and all that type of shit. But that's what the heavyweight division needs. That's exactly what the heavyweight division needs. It's nothing else. It's nothing else that can take on that responsibility of who's the best heavyweight that America got to offer besides a tournament like that. That's it.
If it were held today, who would you put in there? Would you do it where you just have the winner would get a shot against the Klitschko or what, and who would you put in there?
I really don't know who I would put in there besides myself. Like you said, you just named me, Brian, Deontay. To me, we're the given. We're the givens. Of course, we would go in there, but I really don't know. Like Eddie Chambers just down to cruiserweight. Of course, Eddie would go in there. Kevin Johnson would go in there. He's another. He got a big mouth, but he's a good fighter. Who else? It's a couple guys, man, that could go in there, man.
I know that.
You know what I mean? It's a couple guys it's a few cats that can go in there, man. Joe Hanks is an explosive, fast fighter, my little bro. Like it's a few guys that could go in there, man, to really, liven the division up and, bring fact to the division and show who's the best young heavyweight America's got to offer. That's the type of tournament. Now, will that ever happen? That's all up to the powers that be. That's all up to the promoters and, them trying to, protect their money and them trying to hold on to their company. And there's so much politics with this shit, man, that a lot of times there's a lot of moves made in boxing, but it may not be the best moves. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of moves made in boxing, but all of them is not the best moves. So, I'm not putting millions of dollars up. So I'm not in the promoter's shoes, so I really can't speak on them. This is a business as well. I'm understanding people got to protect their money and protect their investments and all that type of shit, but I'm speaking from a fighter standpoint of view. You know what I'm saying? And from a fighter standpoint of view, I believe, a tournament for the heavyweights coming up, that's the best thing that can happen for the division.
And that's the one thing, fans always love those tournaments. I think that get the fans behind them more than anything. They know they're going to see the best against each other. And like I said, everybody likes to have their little brackets up and seeing who advances. So I think the fans would really get behind something like that, like they have previously in the other divisions.
And like a real tournament, not like that 3-round, peekaboo style shit that be going on over there when you fight 3 rounds. I mean, that's cute and that's cool. But I'm talking about like how the Super 6 was with the middleweights. You need a heavyweight tournament like that.
Yeah, I would love to see something like that, and hopefully we'll get that in the future. The last thing I just want to ask you about, and we'll let you get going here. What would it mean to you? You like I said, you're 35 now. You've been around for quite a while. You kind of under the radar, unappreciated. Avoided all that kind of stuff. The time comes, and eventually you get that hand raised. What will it mean to you? And will it mean a little extra because you're kind of whoever the next American heavyweight champion is, or I guess a non-Klitschko, will that mean anything extra to you, kind of, bringing the belt home to the States?
Oh, that'll mean the world to me, man, because it's not just a me thing. You can say, fortunately, me and every other heavyweight that's from America, we're not only fighting for ourselves and our family, we fight for, the representation of the young heavyweights that's coming up. So that'll mean the world to me to actually do that, bring the belts back home. It also would mean the world to me to actually not beat one Klitschko, but to beat both of them. That's really making history in a big way. I would love to be the first to do that. And, yeah, man, all of that is good. All of that is good, but we all know where my focus is right now, and that's on February 23rd, and that's where the whole thing starts with Malik King Scott, and I plan on kicking the door down and looking good doing it.
All right, Jeff, and any final words for you for Malik?
Well, no, I mean, basically, I wish Malik the best. Got a chance to meet him, very nice guy, well-spoken, and obviously he has his head on straight, and he's ready to make some noise, So, I mean, I wish him all the best.
No, thanks, baby. I appreciate it, Jeff.
Right, and Malik, you just mentioned, obviously, your fight coming up in NBC on February 23rd against Vyacheslav Glazkov. Other than that, just tell the folks where they can keep up with you on the social media, the Twitter, the Facebook, and all that kind of stuff.
Yes. Twitter, Malik King Scott. Follow me, Malik King Scott. Instagram, I'm an Instagrammer, 215King. Facebook, Malik Scott. Yeah, I'm all over it. Yeah, I'm all over it. You can catch me on any of that. Any of that goes.
He's everywhere. He's like
like broken glass, man. I'm everywhere.
All right. Anything else other than that you want to let the folks know about before we get you out of here?
I just want everybody to please tune in, man. I'm on free TV. I'm not on pay-per-view. I'm not on Showtime. I'm not on HBO. I'm on free TV. Everything happens for a reason. God is great, and I appreciate it. Everybody just tune in and watch me work.
All right, man. Malik, we really appreciate that. Thanks so much for joining us. And it was great talking to you. Great having you on the first time. And hopefully we'll get you back again when you're getting ready to challenge for the heavyweight championship at some point.
I appreciate it, baby, in a minute.
All right, Jeff, send him out, Jeff.
Bye.
Later. All right, Jeff. I'll see you, man.
Okay.
All right, take care. Thanks.
All right.